Call to order the Finance Committee meeting for May the 2nd, 2017. Our first item on the agenda will be our special recognition by our mayor.
Please join me down front as we have an Employee of the Month recognition. Come on up here. Hey, Swain pushes you up. I'll catch you. Check. You gonna come up here with us too? Oh, you're taking pictures. All right. We have an Employee of the Month recognition that we're getting ready to do. Lindy Brown has been employed with the City of Muskogee since 2001. He began in building inspections. I didn't realize that. Residential building inspector. Moved to Public Works Garage as an automotive mechanic too. 2012, Lindy moved from working for Public Works repairing sanitation vehicles and dump trucks to working on fire apparatus. Since working on fire equipment, Lindy takes every advantage of the training opportunities and has received numerous certifications, including maintenance and standards of fire apparatus, aerial certification, and transmission certification. Lindy is a proud dad of a Marine and a daughter who is about to graduate. In his free time, he likes to hunt and fish and work on anything that is broken. Dang, that sounds like a lifetime kind of commitment. Somebody take advantage of that, yeah. Lenny loves to be outdoors and do anything where he can enjoy the fresh air. Aside from being voted Employee of the Month, Lenny has recently been named a Emergency Vehicle Technician of the Year for the Oklahoma EVT Association. One of the people that nominated Lindy said he handles himself in a very professional manner in the workplace and is very well liked by his co-workers. He is very proactive with his job. Congratulations, Lindy, on being named Employee of the Month. And I've got a certificate for you. If you want to go around and shake hands, then we'll give you the microphone if you want to say something. And if Robert wants to come up and say something as well. All right, we've got a certificate for you.
All right, thank you.
You want to make a comment? You're welcome to do that.
I just appreciate the opportunity to get to the position where I'm at, and very thankful that I've done as well as I have, and I appreciate this award. Thank you, guys.
Robert, you want to make a comment?
You pretty much touched on everything, Mayor, but we are very, very proud of Lindy. As you stated, he is one of those employees that just takes advantage of every opportunity given to him. He's always coming to us to ask if he can attend this training and continue to achieve those certifications, and we just couldn't be happier, more proud of the individual for his dedication to the city and to the work he puts into making sure the job is done right every time.
Pretty powerful words. Thank you, Lindy Brown, Employee of the Month.
It always hurts me when they do that work.
Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of April 18, 2017.
Review of the minutes. Are there any corrections?
Move the approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Cale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item number 1 passed. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments for April 8, 2017 through April 26, 2017.
Do we have a report from the Purchasing Committee?
Yes, sir. The Purchasing Committee met earlier today and reviewed the report of claims with the City Treasurer, and I move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Cale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item number 2 passed, and that was our final item for the Finance Committee.
And we'll now call to order the Public Works Committee meeting. Item number 1.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of April 18, 2017.
Any additions or changes?
Move
Move
for
the
approval.
approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston. Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 2.
Consider approval of a resolution declaring 5 parcels of property, more particularly described in the resolution as surplus to the needs of the city, and authorize the conveyance of said properties or take other necessary action.
Mr. Garvin.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, this item or resolution is for approval of 5 pieces of property to declare surplus property to the needs of the city and authorize the conveyance of the said properties. Parcel 1 is located at 906 Columbus Avenue. The applicant is Dana Young. Ms. Young is requesting the property through our incentive program, which means no cost, with the condition that a building permit be obtained within 1 year. Parcels 2 and 3, 1618 Columbus Street, 800 South 8th Street. Sandra Jones is the applicant. Ms. Jones is also requesting the property through the incentive program. Again, no cost. Parcels 4 and 5 are located at 608 Girard Street in the northeast corner of South 9th Street and Elgin Avenue. Lisa DeVideo is requesting this property through our incentive program. And again, no cost. So we are recommending approval of the 5 parcels and authorize the conveyance of those parcels. Be glad to answer any questions.
I've got a question.
Okay.
How are the applicants over the past year doing on obtaining their building permits within a year?
We're in the process. I just had Darla run me a spreadsheet showing me those. The first one comes up next month as being the end of the year, and we're getting that to the building inspector and seeing if any of those permits has been obtained up to that point. If not, we're going to notify the property owner and say, your time's running out, you need to get down and obtain the permit, or the city of Muskogee may request the property back, or see what the conditions are. If they've got a loan or getting started, got plans, what they're doing.
And this may not be a fair question, but maybe it is the way I'll phrase it. Do you have any feel at this point, or are you waiting on your report?
We've had some building permits issued. I didn't recognize any of them as far as names being tied into any of the incentive properties, so I haven't got a good feeling at this point about it. But you haven't had you don't have a good feel for it, or you don't have a good feeling about it? I don't have a good feeling about it because I haven't seen any of them, so it's got me a little concerned because we have given a lot of property through the incentive program. But we will go through, we will look at them, we will notify them as it gets closer to their year being up and saying you need to obtain the permit.
Well, last question. What if they don't obtain a permit?
Probably 2 things. One, and of course I'd have to talk to the manager on this, but the first thing we would do is if they got any building plans, how far have they gone? Are they getting ready and just need a little more time? If so, we'll work with them. If they haven't gotten anything, we'll probably talk to them about possibly getting the property back, especially if there's someone interested in a property that they can build on. We would definitely look at it.
And that answers my question. We can request the property back.
We can request the property back.
If we want the property back.
Another thing I'd probably look at too on when we take it back is, are they maintaining the property? Are they mowing it, taking care of it?
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Move the approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 3.
Consider approval of the agreement for engineering services between the Muskogee Municipal Authority, owner, and Holloway, Updike, and Bellum Incorporated engineer for design, bidding, and construction phase services for projects to be funded by loan number ORF-17-0019-CW from the Oklahoma Water Resources Board, subject to the closing of said loan or take other necessary action.
Mr. Riley.
Mayor and Council, this is the first engineering services coming out of our loan that we approved for the Oklahoma Water Resources Board. The projects with a hub for the engineering services will be a port lift station replacement, which are the 4 lift stations between the river and the turnpike, west side sewer improvements, the northeast lift station elimination project, where we're going to bring some of the lift stations into one lift station and eliminate several, north side sewer improvements, junction area sewer improvements, and then a lot of improvements to the wastewater treatment plant, which is in need of quite a few repairs. And it's up for discussion to be approved by the MMA next week.
Any
How
questions?
are all the lift stations that we've previously done doing right now?
What's that?
The lift stations that we've already done, that we've refurbished, redone, repainted, put new parts and stuff into, how are they doing right now?
I don't know of any issues. You got no issues that seem to be doing well. So,
They're all up and working?
yes.
Okay. I was just curious about that.
Yeah, we've had no reports of not working. So.
How often do we check them to see if they are working?
Yeah, they have
Okay.
warning devices that we're warned when there's an issue.
Okay.
If there was an issue, we have known about it this weekend with all that high water, so none were reported. And these projects that are on this agenda are not associated with the ones we did in the past, so.
Okay. This is all
continues to
new
improve
ones?
This continues to improve our lift stations.
Okay, thank you.
Mike, I'll ask you, since you're just more familiar, and maybe our deputy mayor, are these the 4 lift stations we talked about earlier? It seemed like they were close by the river that were just in terrible, terrible, terrible condition.
That's them. Number 2, which is out off of what I call Riverside Drive, which is out by where the Transit Authority office is. That one gives us awful trouble. It's a brick basin. The manhole's made out of bricks. It's extremely deep, and those bricks actually fall in from that basin down into the impellers and constantly are causing trouble. So we fix that lift station just repeatedly, and it's in desperate need. So are the other 3. They were all put in pretty much at the same time. So that's an accurate statement.
Thank you. I think I remember Mr. Gully inviting me to peer down into one of those. And
I was trying to push you. Oh, just kidding, just kidding.
Push him to learn, right?
There you go. How deep are these? Mike or Greg, I really hate to put you on the spot because you haven't been on staff for long enough. So I do, just for anybody that looks at this contract, there's a smoke testing line item for $115,200. And I know we did quite a bit of smoke testing. I'd just like to have a little bit of clarity, if you don't mind, just what this additional smoke testing is, just for the rest of the group.
Yeah, that additional testing is for that basin area that is defined. If you remember when Jay did the luncheon with us, when we did the council communication lunch, he actually had outlined an area in that far northwest region that's going to have that. That work was not done in the last contract, so this is not a repeat of any work that's previously been done. And Greg Armstrong from Holloway is here, and he can attest to that. And in the meantime, this has to be forwarded to Monday night's Muskogee Municipal Authority meeting, because this is actually a contract with them, and we will ensure that there's no duplicate of services, but I'm sure it's not.
Okay, one of those things, I just hope, in case somebody else saw that, they would ask that same question, so that now they've got their answer. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other thoughts, discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Seeing that no citizens signed up to speak to this committee, we are adjourned.
We'll now call to order the special call meeting of the Muskogee City Council. Roll call.
Mayor Bob Coburn.
Here.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Janie Boydston.
Here.
Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Patrick Kale.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Derek Reed.
Here.
Okay, before we do item 1, let me ask Mrs. Kingston, do we want to take these out of order to give you a moment to get prepared? Okay. Do you need a moment for preparation, or are you ready to go? Okay, item number 1.
Consider acceptance of fiscal year 2016 audit report presented by Katie McAdams with CBEW Professional Group, or take any other necessary action.
Mrs. Kingston.
This is Katie McAdams from CBEW in Cushing, Oklahoma. They're our audit company. and she's here to present the audit and answer any questions that you all might have. I want to point out that what used to be called an unqualified opinion has now, the terminology has now been changed to unmodified, which is, it's a good thing. But I think they decided that unqualified was kind of confusing to people, had a negative connotation. So, but we do have an unmodified audit, and I'll let Katie answer any questions that you might have.
Welcome, Katie.
I just want to say thank you again for allowing CBW to do your audit again this past year. You guys did have a unmodified, clean opinion. We did not find any problems, no material weaknesses, no deficiencies in internal control, anything like that. There was no findings, just like last year. So everything looks good, in our opinion. I don't know, do you want me to go over some of the numbers? I mean, I know at this point they're almost a year old and you guys get financials all the time. So I can do that if you would like me to, or I can just answer
Gene or
questions.
Mike or council, you have a preference on that?
Just for clarification, when you say it's a clean audit, what does that actually mean?
It means that we did not find any material differences, which materiality is usually probably 10% on average, probably, that anything that was wrong on your financials, as far as what we could tell, that we had to make a correction that would, if an average citizen was reading your financials, that we did not have to make any changes that would affect any decisions that, or any opinions that they would have of the audit. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Or it would not change any of your decision making by a material difference.
It means that all the numbers are lined up the way we took the money out and put it in and
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
It doesn't tell you that we're short on money or more money in there or anything like that. It just means that we're balancing.
Yes. Yes. Just means that everything was reported correctly and as it happened.
Okay.
Is that why Gene is smiling? Day of relief?
We didn't happen to find any more money in there, though, that we didn't have.
I don't think so. I'm sorry.
I was afraid of that.
I'm sorry.
Generally, after an audit, usually there's a kind of a recommendation letter that submitted after the audit. Was there one with this one?
No, I don't think so. I didn't see one that
There
Chuck
wasn't
had
with
put in
the
there.
audit. I noticed there wasn't anything with the audit, but generally there's some recommendations.
I think that's usually if we have any findings. If there's
Okay.
anything that we find that may not be, it may just be something that can be approved on. It may not be something
Yes,
that's bad,
yes.
but just something that can be approved on. And we didn't find anything this year. And I noticed that there was no findings from last year either.
Yeah, I've
So-
noticed that the last couple of audits that there's been no recommendations, and I just didn't know if that is typical with your firm, that there won't be any recommendations.
No, there usually is. If there's a finding, then there's recommendations in there that we try to let you know what can be improved. And it may be that we gave some recommendations a couple of years ago, and you guys have just fixed them, and
Okay.
everything's good now. So
Thank you.
So, Katie, I got one question.
Okay.
I don't know if- it might be easier if I just point it out to you versus trying to tell you what the page number.
Okay. Can we come up there and look at it?
Yeah. I'm just wondering, that little item that says no.
Forgot about these.
A low risk? You might go to the microphone. I'm just.
What paragraph are you under, Jen?
I'm on 80 or
It's 80.
88.
So his question was about, I think it's at the,
Well, I have two page numbers, 80 and 88.
At
Yes.
the very back.
so his question was about the question, or the question about the auditee qualifying as a low risk auditee. That has to do with your single audit and your grants that you receive. And I believe that it has to do with the dollar amount that you receive. And so since you receive a higher dollar amount, then you're not considered low risk. And all it means is that we just need to, we do more audit work on your grants and on your single audit stuff, that we do more test work and things to make sure that you guys are following the correct procedures with your audits and that all of the income is being reported correctly and all the expenses for each one of those audits is being reported correctly. So that's all that means.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments or questions?
Move to accept the report.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Comment or question? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 2.
Pursuant to Section 307C10, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session for the purpose of conferring on matters pertaining to economic development in the northeast quadrant of the city, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session.
Entertain a motion for executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any comment? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes. Motion carries. We'll now consider ourselves in executive session. If you could excuse us for a few moments to do that executive session. We'll now reconvene from executive session. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bob Coburn.
Here.
Deputy James Scully.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Present.
Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Janie Boydston.
Here.
Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Patrick Kale.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Derek Reed.
Here.
Mr. Beese, would you help us with item 2?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pursuant to Section 307C10, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss for purposes of discussing matters pertaining to economic development in the northeast quadrant of the city. After being fully briefed and thoroughly discussing the matter, I believe at this point no action is necessary.
That concludes our agenda for today's meeting. Thank you for being a part.